I ended up having a free weekend, so decided to jump in the car and head on one final canoe trip of the season. Felt kind of weird leaving with so much snow on the ground. I go get lost to find myself where the trees grow tall. Open skies and winding trails ground me, keep me calm. Left my world just yesterday to be right where I am. A moment of forest is all I need, and I'll be here whenever I can. I'll return whenever I can. Is the butt? What? That's not a... There is no butt of a paddle. What? Paddles are not made of blades and butts.
Yes, they are.
Yes, good dog.
Wait. Wait.
Good boy. Ready, sit. Okay, up and out. Oh, do you see the little trail on the left?
Okay. Oh, I wish I could see.
I need to
Oh, Slinky. Good boy. There's a Slightly waiting for everything. Good morning and welcome to November 6th. I am here on Sheldon Lake in Queen Elizabeth II Wildlands Provincial Park. I have with me my fuzzy adventure buddy, and we also have another adventure buddy on this trip, Clayton, the composer and performer for the soundtrack. A little tour of the site. It's been nice and frosty and cold. Seen lots of frosted ground already. But it looked like such a nice weekend to get out before the snow comes to stay. So here we have the pitch that we slept in last night. It's a little bit messy inside, a bit chaotic. Slightly really wanted to get up in a rush this morning. And the chaos of our campsite over here. Another angle of the tarp. I'm just filling up some water bottles, getting ready for the day.
Great.
Good boy.
Lovely with the sun.
Yeah.
It's going to be a nice day.
I look forward to being warm on that hike. Here I go.
Oh, hi, puppy.
Saturday afternoon, and we are just hiking along part of the Ganaraskin Trail. We already made it up to a beautiful scenic lookout, and we decided to head towards Victoria Lake. We probably won't get there, and we have to have time to make it back to our campsite before dusk, ideally. Slightly, you coming? So the three of us decided to not do as much canoeing today as we initially thought we might, but we decided to take to the trails because we could meet up with the Ganaraskin pretty easily from where we were, and Slightly has just been enjoying the hiking so much that we decided to give him the treat. So we see how far we make it, but we're hoping to make it to at least Peters Pond before turning around. We made it to Peters Pond. So it's a very interesting place. It looks like a good haven for moose and beaver. And let's see if I can point out a few things that we can see. There is a vast emptiness of trees. And it looks like we've got lots of beaver lodges. There's one here at the very end of this point where I'm standing. And then there's one over there as well, just on that shoreline. And then it looks like over here as well, just in that area. There's a great big bundle of sticks. And then also over by the portage, it was looking like there was a beaver lodge that way as well. And when we were coming and approaching this pond, I did see a big splash, and I suspect that was a beaver.
Sit. Sit. Shh. Sit. Sit. Hey.
Here we are at the end of day 2, the end of Saturday, getting all comfy cozy in our tarp shelter for the night. Hope that we can keep warmer than we did last night.
You know, I was actually pleasantly surprised coming into this tarp shelter. Even though it has the open face, it's noticeably warmer in here than it is outside.
Yeah.
That must be just the wind chill factor.
Yeah.
And we've got very dark doodle,
You
all
look
bundled up.
So cozy. Look at that face.
See you tomorrow.
Good night. Good morning. Here we are on our final morning pack-up day from Sheldon Lake. I'm just going to give you a little tour of the shelter that we stayed in for the past 2 nights. I don't know a name for this setup. I just kind of went with what my brain made sense of with what I had. We had initially wanted to set up an A-frame down in a little sheltered spot over where the sleeping bag is airing out. But after putting up the ridgeline, I just really didn't like the look of the very dead tree that was overhanging that spot. We came up here and I'll give you a little tour. I have a 3 meter by 3 meter square tarp, and here I've got a line of 3 additional tie-outs down the middle. So basically what I did was midway on one of the sides, I tied up here, and then I staked out here, and then I had to use rocks because the stake wouldn't hold. So that is immediately across. And then I've done a similar pitch in the past where I tied, or I pegged this out, but I wanted to have a little bit more elevation. I just went 1 over from the midway, and then I tucked the corner under. So you can see how wet it is. I was able to put a little bit of gear on top of that corner, a very, very small little ground sheet shelf built in. So this corner is also tucked in like the other, and again 1 over from the midway line. And it cut the wind really nicely last night. So when we were going to bed last night, the wind did pick up and it was coming from this direction, and we were pretty chilly when we were out and about, but Clayton noted his surprise with how as soon as he ducked inside the shelter, it felt instantly way warmer, and that was just being sheltered from the wind. So I think it would do all right in rain. I think I would want a cleaner pitch than how it's looking right now for if it were rainy, but we had really nice weather. Stars all night, just rather chilly. So come on in and take a look here. There is quite a good amount of headroom above me. There's enough room to flail and change. It was really comfy for 2 of us plus a dog. We put tomato soup, the Canoe pack, down at our feet. I had my life jacket and some gear over to the side. Most of this area was puppy area, but we also put some gear in front of puppy so that he doesn't wander in the night. I think I would want to try this pitch also on a solo trip. I would have plenty of room to lay this way, and then I would be able to close up the opening a bit more as a door. And I can show you just how that would kind of look. We've got lots of rock right here. I don't think I'm adding a peg here. It's not an option. Much better. Good. And then I'll just slip this off. So we've got a bit of a close there. And really, I wouldn't have to peg out this side. But I could if I wanted to. And then, of course, mattresses would be inside. So I don't know that the closed door would work for 2 of us and a puppy. But certainly for a solo trip or just myself and Slightly, I think this could be a pretty cool alteration to have. Would probably be really helpful in the rain to avoid splashback, or if the wind suddenly were changing direction, I'd be able to make it just a bit more cozy or private if I'm camping in an area where there are other people around me, because most of my pitches that I do are not very private, which is nice because I get to look at the forest all night, but less nice when there are other people in close proximity. So here's our shelter. Next step, we'll pack it up. Saddest camp sound. Oof. Soup, a very large canoe pack that is very not full. We did well to pack light. After more than 6 years of marriage, and then more than that, being very good friends, I am wondering, what do you think of doing your first ever our family canoe trip? Finally!
It was great. I know. I can't believe it's taken us this long. We've certainly done other canoe trips with others, but this is our first one, just us. It's been beautiful, and we've had great weather. We've had sun every day, and I'm enjoying the scenery, but also the feeling of the crisp air with the warm sun. And here we are in November, and we still have some leaves on the trees, so we have this nice golden kind of backdrop to what we do. Yeah, it's been a lovely trip.
What do you think? Are there any things that you would want to do differently?
Ooh, I think if I were to do another trip in this kind of season in November, where it gets down to like just around the freezing mark at night, and the sun sets pretty early, so the sun has been setting like at 5:30.
Are you ready?
I think I, for myself, would want to think about maybe investing in a warmer base layer for the nights, because the nights have been pretty cold, though the second night was certainly better than the first. And I also wonder about whether I could be more creative about after the sun has set activities, because the sun sets at 5:30 and then there's like a long time until it rises, and I wonder about how we could use that time to have fun and be active to stay warm without just like, oh, let's go to bed early. We had a great initiative last night and the night before where we were doing long exposure photography, which was very fun, but I think there are more ideas out there that we just haven't explored yet. We all ready?
Hope so. Ultimate highlights of the trip so far.
Ultimate highlights so far. Last night we went for a canoe paddle around at sunset time, and we went into a bay and we saw a beaver. We were doing circles and we were taking pictures, and that was fun. I've also really enjoyed breakfasts. I enjoy a nice camp breakfast. You get your hot chocolate, and we were having oatmeal.
Good boy.
Sitting looking at the
Go to your
blanket.
mat.
It's been nice. That's my seat.
You would like to paddle stern for this pond.
Okay, slightly. Go on up.
Any thorns of the trip?
Thorns of the trip. I would say, for me, I think the only thing that could have been better was I did find it cold the first night especially. I found it a little bit challenging to stay consistently asleep. So warmer sleep wear would help that.
What do you think about tarp camping?
Oh, tarp camping is great. I think while on a canoe trip there's benefit of being able to carry more stuff, the fact that tarp camping is light and you can really be customized to your location, I think is really neat, because you can tarp camp in places where you can't camp in a tent. And I enjoy the fact that you can have open concept layouts, because then you can get a nice breeze, you can see the stars. Yeah, I'm a fan of tarp camping.
Would you do it again?
Oh, 100%. 100%. It's been a great time. I think we're a great team.
Anything else you want to say?
Look forward to next time.